Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Troilus and Cressida and we've made it to Act 2. We actually get to hear from Hector today in Act 2, Scene 2, which, we need to find out what happened in Act 2, Scene 1. So real quick recap of Act 1. Troilus loves Cressida. No, he has to go through Pandarus to get her. Cressida loves Troilus but doesn't want to let him know because the thrill is in the chase. The Greeks are disappointed that they haven't destroyed Troy yet, but then the Trojans, Hector specifically, issued a challenge to the Greeks basically saying, send out a champion and we'll have our own little battle because Hector's getting bored. And Ulysses and Nestor have decided that even though they're pretty sure that this challenge was intended for Achilles, they're going to set it up so that the champion is drawn by lottery and Ajax is going to win. They're rigging the lottery so that Ajax will have to go out and fight, because if Ajax wins, then great. And if Ajax loses, they know they still have Achilles. So Act 2, Scene 1, we're still in the Greek camp. We're a little bit elsewhere in the Greek camp, and it's a little bit later in the day. And we start off with Ajax and Thersites. Thersites being Ajax's servant at the moment. And he serves the role of the fool in this play, but he's really just mean. and the whole first half of this scene is Ajax and Thersites calling each other names and being rude to each other, to the point where Ajax just starts beating Thersites, and Thersites then calls Ajax more names and gets beaten even more for it, and you can see where this is going. It devolves until Achilles and Patroclus come in and they're like, what's going on here? And Thersites sort of gets chased away in the whole thing, and Ajax is like, I just sent him because I wanted to know what the proclamation was about. And they're like, oh yeah, Hector's issued a challenge. And he's like, oh, who's the challenger supposed to be? And they're like, well, we don't know yet because it's going to be by lottery. And Ajax is like, cool, let's go check that out. And that's basically Act 2, Scene 1. Act 2, Scene 2, we're back in Troy, and we're hanging out now with Priam, who's the king, Hector, and Troilus is there, and a bunch of others, and Priam is saying, Nestor sent us yet another message saying that if we just give Helen back to Menelaus, then this whole war can be over. And Hector responds to that by saying, though no man lesser fears the Greeks than I, as far as touches my particular, yet, dread Priam, there is no lady of more softer bowels, more spongy to suck in the sense of fear, more ready to cry out, who knows what follows, than Hector is. The wound of peace is surety, surety secure, but modest doubt is called the beacon of the wise, the tent that searches to the bottom of the worst. Let Helen go. Since the first sword was drawn about this question, every tithe soul mongst many thousand dioms hath been as dear as Helen. I mean of ours. If we have lost so many tenths of ours to guard a thing not ours, nor worth to us, had it our name, the value of 1/10, what merits in that reason which denies the yielding of her up? So Hector is not only getting bored of this war, but he doesn't see the point of it anymore. What he's saying here is, I'm not at all afraid of the Greeks. I'm perfectly happy to go out there and continue to kill them and continue to fight, but we should keep in mind, because it is wise, that we don't know how this war is going to end. For certain, we still have to entertain the notion that this war might not end, or might not end in our favor. And already in the 7 years that we've been fighting, how many tens of thousands of our own soldiers have we lost to protect Helen, who's not even Trojan? He's like, that makes no sense. Even if she was Trojan, if she was one of us, she wouldn't be worth even 10 of those men that have gone out there and died for her. So why shouldn't we just go ahead and give her back and have this whole thing over? And Troilus is like, what? no, no, we can't do that because we brought her here for a reason, and if we give her back, then we're gonna look stupid and all this sort of stuff. and they're like, but okay, we need some evidence. We need some evidence, some sort of reason, some sort of logic to your argument there, because it doesn't make quite as much sense as Hector's. And Troilus is going to expound on his reasoning for why Helen needs to remain in Troy in tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then for that.